Kakalosh Boker Or Masechet Bava Metzia Daf Amud Aleph. We are talking about right now the entire concept of Hechal. What does that mean? If you remember, we were going back and forth, right? Of that, what happens right now if I come and I tell you you owe me 100? Yeah, I answer. What are you talking about? 100? It's 50, and here it is. Hechal, take it. Kach. Yeah. So therefore, do we have a machloke between Rabbi Chaya and Rav Sheshat? Do we come and we say that it's considered that you're modeh b'mitzat and therefore you still have to swear? Or are we going to come and going to say, no, really be'emet, what's going on is that really be'emet, we're going to come and say that when you're going to come and say this, really be'emet, you're coming and you're closing the case. Which means you come, you tell me 100, I tell you, no, it's 50, and here's the 50, I just close the case. How much are you asking for now? 50. How much am I telling you that I owe you? Zero. If I tell you 50 and you tell me 0, what is that considered? It's not considered modeh b'mitzat, and therefore you're going to be patur on the shivua. So that was a machloke between Rabbi Chaya and Rav Sheshat. Okay? Rav Sheshat says that it's considered patur. Yes, the patur. Okay, that you don't have to make a shavua. Okay, so this is how we're starting today's daf. Ulman da'amar, according to the man da'amar, that Hechal is going to be patur. Amai itzikra lemiyute karka mishavua. Ve'akol karka helachu. Says 1 second. I don't understand. If you're going to come and you're going to tell me that Hechal is going to be patur, but it's not considered modeh b'mitzat, meaning according to Shitat Rav Ashi. Why do you need a pasuk to come and to exclude karka mishivua? Why do you need to exclude ground, right? The land from shivua. Hakol karka helachu. Any piece of land is considered like helach, right? Why? Because since the karka is always there and it's always going to be birshu ba'alea, so therefore it's always considered helach. Right? So therefore, why we said before, if you remember, we were speaking about Gilgul Shivua, and are you going to come, you're going to throw on the Shivua from one thing to another thing, and we said, Karka, you never swear on Karka, right? It's only going to be on Kelim. It's only going to be on movable objects, yeah? Tangible objects, metaltalim. But the question is, so then 1 second, why do you need a Pasuk to exclude Karka? You shouldn't need a Pasuk, right? Why? Because it's already considered Helach. So answers the Gemara, Amar Lecha, says Rav Sheshat, Itzrikra, the pasuk, you need it to be poter from a shivua hechad dechafar ba borot shichin umearot. In a case where he actually dug, whether it's going to be borot shichin umearot. Remember that the borot is obviously, we're talking about when you're going to dig in the ground. The me'arot is many types of chafirot. Also, there are different types of buildings, but basically we're talking about like different types of pits. Whether it's going to be in the ground, whether it's going to be like a more of an actual building in itself, where it's not just stama out of the dirt. Okay, so in such a case, right, I would have said that, listen, that maybe you're going to be chayav, right? And it's not considered helach. So therefore, that's why you still needed to be poter from karka, to tell you that even in a case of borot shechinu me'arot, you are going to come and you're going to be patur, because obviously in a case of helach, you're going to be patur. Inami, or if you want, you could answer another answer. Yeah, he comes and he says, Heicha de ta'ano kelim ve'karkaot, ve'hoda bekelim ve'kafar be'karkaot. We already said, why did the pasuk need to come and to tell you that you're going to be exempt from shivua? Because, for example, what happens if I tell you, you come and you owe me, whether it's going to be kelim and karka, both. Now you were modeh, right, bekelim. You were going to be modeh in the kelim, but he says vekafar, which means without telach. You just were modeh and kelim. Now you were kafar and bekarkaot. You said I don't know you anything in the karka. Now, even though there is hoda'ah, which is obligating you shivua, nevertheless, since the kfirah is in karkaot, it's not going to be chal the shivua, because en nishbaim al kfirat karka. And therefore, since you're not going to swear on kfirat karka, right, as we already said before, so therefore, that's why you don't have to do it. Okay, so says the Gemara, so those are two reasons why, according to Shitat Rav Sheshat, you still need a pasuk to exempt you from shivua, from karka, and we don't say that it's going to be helach. Tashema, we're going to try to bring a proof to Tani Rami Bar Chama. Rami Bar Chama comes and he's going to teach from a braita. Arba'a shomenim tzrichin kefira b'miktzat vehoda'a b'miktzat. we're going to mention that there's going to be 4 different shomrim. That in order for them to be chayav, what's called a Shavuat HaShomrim. Shavuat HaShomrim means a Shavuah that you're watching over it. So therefore, right, and basically you're saying that, no, I don't have it. So in such a case, tzrichin kfira b'miktzat v'hoda'ah b'miktzat. You need a little bit of a kfira and a little bit of a hoda'ah. Okay? Which means that's what we're trying to say over here, right? We're talking about that it has to be in such a case. So what are these cases now? What are we talking about that it has to be a little bit of hoda'ah and a little bit of mitzat? We're talking about the 4 shomrim, shomer chinam, shoel, noseh sachar, and socher. So these are the 4 shomrim. Remember, right, when we're going to go through Bava Metzia, we're going to become very, very well acquainted, right, with these 4 shomrim. Okay, so you have a shomer chinam. What's a shomer chinam? An unpaid custodian, right? An unpaid watchman. Shomer sachar, a paid watchman. Okay, and then you have a shoel, right, which is going to be a borrower, and a socher, and then somebody that's a renter. Okay, those are the 4 shomrim. Always remember that, 4 shomrim. There are 4 people. We learned this many times, but this is here we're going to become very, very, very well acquainted, right, with these shomrim. Okay, so in all of these cases, what's happening is that right now somebody comes and he tells him to watch over it, or he rented it to him, or he lent it to him, whichever one that it is. And now all of a sudden the guy comes and there's going to be different rules to do with what happens with the object when it's in his possession. Because we know that there's different halachot, obviously. So therefore, if right now he comes and he says that he's going to be, let's say, patur from a tashlumin. So for example, a shomer chinam that says it was stolen. Or a shomer sachar that says it was force majeure. Or a shoel, a borrower, that says meta mechama melacha. Right? Those cases, each one is going to be patur. Right? Which means if somebody's an unpaid custodian and they steal it from him, he's patur from paying back. Why? I wasn't paid to watch it. I was doing you a favor. So if it was stolen, right, that's it. Now again, we're not talking about negligence, but we're just talking about that it was stolen. Now, if I'm going to be paid, it's a little bit of a different story. Because if I'm paid to watch over it, I didn't do the job. They came and they stole. Yeah, but at the end of the day, right, it's going to be chayav. So therefore, there's different halachot with each one of the shomrim. So now, the Torah comes and he says, let's say I'm going to come and I'm going to borrow your car. And while I was using your car normally, I wasn't taking it on, one of these roads, dirt roads, and I don't know what. But I was using your car normally, and all of a sudden a nail came straight into the tire. Right? Now again, I didn't go through a construction site. I didn't go regular driving on the road. I didn't do anything different. That's called meta mechamat melacha, which means in the olden days it used to be that you're taking a cow and you're using it for the regular melacha, and then it dies. This is called meta. It dies because of melacha. Here, nowadays, obviously, we're talking about usually more cows. People borrow much more cars than cows. So meta mechamat melacha, you're going to be patur, right? You're patur, 100%. So now what happens is you have to swear. Why do you have to swear? Because in order for you to become patur, you have to come, right? And you're going to swear. Okay? Fine. So that's called Shavuat HaShomrim. Anytime that you're going to be patur. Okay? It's going to be, right? Patur. So says the Gemara, we're going to say, what about now this case of Helach? So says the Gemara, Hechidami, what is the case exactly that we're talking about, that they were modeh? Lav damar lehelach. Are we not talking about that the shomer went and he told him, here, take it? Which means we're talking about that he was modeh, right? That it's still there. And the shomer comes and he tells the balapikadon, take it wherever it is. So therefore it comes out that even in a case of helach, right, it's going to be considered modeh b'miktzat. Answers the Gemara, no. Yeah, you're not. Elmaleh, because he could come and he could tell him, Shalosh parot masarti lecha, umetu kulhu b'pshiyah. He comes and he says, one second, he could tell him, the Bala Pikadon could come and tell the Shomer, I gave you 3 parot, yeah, and all of them died with your pshiyut, with your negligence. So you're obligated to pay all of them. Elmaleh ihu, so now he comes and he says, no, hada lahadam. Yeah, one of them, lahadam. What is lahadam? Lo hayu devarim meolam. Didn't exist. Yeah, you told me 3. No. One of them was not there, so it was never 3. Maximum 2. That's going to be number 1. Okay? Lo hayu dvarim me'olam, which means you never gave it to me. Hada, one of them, meta be'ones, died with ones. Yeah, and therefore I'm going to be patur. Vechada, and one of them, meta be'pshia. It was actually pshia, it was a negligence. Tebe'ina shalom elach, that I have to pay you. Telav helachu, that here in this case it's not helach, because he's not giving it to him. Helach was that he's not giving it he's just modeh. So therefore, on the fact that he's going to be modeh, the money is not going to be b'reshut tovea. So for in this case, it's not going to be modeh. Okay, one more time. A guy comes and he tells him shalosh. What does he tell him on number 1? Echad lo adam lo hayu dvarim me'olam lo haya velo nivra. I don't know what you're talking about. That's number 1. Yeah, number 2, ones. Ones is what? Patur. Force majeure. I'm going to be patur. Shomer, right? Even a shomer sachar is going to be patur. Right? But, right? A shoel is going to be chayav benotzim. But a shomer sachar is going to be patur. The third one, he comes and he says, was pshia. And you're right. In the case of pshia, you are going to be hayav. This is modeh b'mitzat. Because what was the Tana? The Tana was I give you 3. He's modeh b'mitzat, only 1.
There is no Shavua.
No, there is a Shavua. That's what we're saying here. There's a Shavua.
It's also a little bit different.
There's a Shavua. Tashema, so we're going to try to bring down another proof. The Tani Avua de Rav Apturiki. So taught Rav, the father of Rav Apturiki. The Rebchia Kamaita, the stira is in Rebchia that's in front of us. Maneli biyadcha vehala omer en lecha biyadi kelum. I come and say, you owe me $100. He says, what are you talking about? You don't have anything by me. There's witnesses that he has 50 zuz in his hands. Are we going to say that he has to swear on the rest? Because at the end of the day, it's mitzat tana. Talmud Lomar comes to teach you al kol aveda asher yomar hu zeh, that when it says in the pasuk asher yomar, we're talking about hoda'at piv ata mechayevo ve'i ata mechayevo al hada'at edim. So it comes out that this braita mefurash is telling you is that edim which are coming and being me'edim or mitzat tana do not obligate a shavua. And this is the exact opposite of Rabbi Chia. Yesterday we went and we started learning that when two witnesses come, they're going to obligate a shavua. Why? Because it's not worse than hodat piv. Here we're seeing mefurash that if 2 witnesses come and they say there was only 50, it was 50. Now the truth is, if you actually think about it, there is some logic there. And the logic that you have behind it is, 1 second, right? I'm asking you for 100. You told me 0. Witnesses come and tell me 50. So then that's it, it's 50. Why in the world are you going to now obligate me to make a shavua that there wasn't another 50? Witnesses are the best thing in the world. And if the witnesses come and they say it was only a 50, it was only 50. Yeah? So answers the Gemara, Matnita karamita led Rabbi Chia. He says, from the Braita you're asking on Rabbi Chia. Rabbi Chia Tana hu upalig. Rabbi Chia is a Tana. And therefore, since Rabbi Chia is a Tana, he could argue. And therefore he could argue, and there's no problem whatsoever. Yeah? There's no problem. Right? Veha krakama. Ask the Gemara, but you have a pasuk. How do you do it with a pasuk? One more time. Yesterday, right, and the day before, yes, we keep on coming and learning that what? That whenever you have edim mechayev shavua, because it's considered modab mitzat, right? Here we're saying that you don't, but that's against Rabbi Chia. Answers the Gemara, Rabbi Chia is a Tana. He's allowed to argue, because you're asking from a Braita. Right? Since he's a Tana, right, he's allowed to argue. Okay? Fine. Remember that a Tana is one of the authors of the Mishnayot. And therefore, a Braita, if a Braita is going to go against him, it doesn't matter. Because he's a higher authority. So since he's a higher authority, he could always argue on it. There's no problem with it. Because he's in a higher authority. What? One second. But the question though is that 1 second. But you have a pasuk. The pasuk says Asher Yomar, which means that he's only going to be mechayev on that which it comes from his mouth. Asher Yomar ki huzeh, which he's saying. So therefore, okay, you want to be a Tana, you want to argue Chazaku Baruch. But there's a pasuk in the Torah. How do you argue with a pasuk in the Torah? So answers the Gemara, Hahud modeh b'miktzat Tana. There, where we're talking about, right, it was modeh b'miktzat Tana. And therefore, since it's not miutar, you can't come and tell me that it's going to be on the edim, right? And therefore, right, there's no problem with it. He's allowed to do this. Vavua de Rabbi Aprotosko. He says, 1 second. But it was taught in the name of the father of Rabbi Bertuki. So how is he going to be doresh to exclude witnesses if you need that for modeh b'miktzat? Meaning like this: when you have a pasuk, but I'm already using the pasuk for something else, so then I cannot make a drasha for something else. It's already used. Unless there's a yitur, unless there's something which is superfluous. Sometimes, you have the extra hey, the extra letters, the extra vav, the extra this, the extra word, things like that, yes. But if it's not extra and I'm already using it for something, that's it. So the question is, how does the father come and he says this pasuk, right? And again, remember, his svara is that at the end of the day, edim is you are learning it from a binyan av, from one witness. You remember we said mefurash that if one witness comes and he says that he agreed to the ta'ana of the balabait, right? But he says no, he actually owes him 50, so he's mechayev a shavua. So kal vachomer, we said, so then it should be 2 witnesses, and we kept on coming and saying about how can you make a kal vachomer? Not a kal vachomer, was it hakashan azama? Was it you can't really compare the two? So he said you can't learn it on one, then you want to learn it on both, and then binyan av, and then we just said the common denominator. Then we started asking the common denominator. After the common denominator, that was the entire concept of yesterday. Right? So therefore, we come now and we're saying, right, that if it's going to be extra, right, so then you can learn from it. But here it's not extra. So what's he doing? So says the Gemara, he says, you're right. Amar lecha, he's going to tell you like this. Ktiv, right, asher yomar kihu, and then it says ze. Yeah? Al ze ve'al mazeh. Yeah? What does that mean? Yeah? He comes and he says, what does that mean? He says who? And then he says, ze. So he says, chad lemodeh b'miktzat ta'ana, vechad ha'adat ha'edim tepatur. So which means like this: one of the lishonot is coming to teach you the din of modeh b'miktzat, and one of them is coming to exclude the concept of miktzat ta'ana to do with the edim. So you're going to be patur, and therefore we're actually being doresh to exclude the hadat edim b'miktzat from the shavua. So we're learning it from the pasuk, from the fact that it's an extra in the pasuk. So that's what we're saying, kihu ze. Okay? So now he comes and he says, because if you pay attention, the words kihu, right? He says kize is the mashma that it's going to be odah b'miktzat. When you say kihu ze, it's extra, right? Just say kize, right? Asher yomar kize. What is kihu ze? So he comes and he says, no, that's why. One of them is to include, right, that modeh b'miktzat ta'ana, you're going to be hayav, and one of them is going to say that you're going to be patur when you have edim, 2 edim going against you. Ve'idach, but according to Rabbi Hiya, what does he do now with this? Because now it's extra. So if it's extra, how does Rabbi Hiya say that if you have 2 witnesses, you're going to be obligating a shavua? Here we just said it's a pasuk, and from the pasuk you learn you don't obligate the shavua. So he says, chad lemodeh b'miktzat ta'ana, ve'chad lemodeh mimin ha'ta'ana. One of them is going to be that you're going to be modeh b'miktzat ta'ana, and one of them is going to be mechayev shavua if you're going to be mimin ha'ta'ana, right? Which means, right, for example, modeh b'miktzat means I come and I tell you owe me $100, you tell me $50, $20, $30, doesn't matter, but you're modeh b'miktzat ta'ana. But I had a ta'ana, my ta'ana was correct, but you tell me, right, b'miktzat. Hodami mina ta'ana means from the same species. You owe me $100. Says what? But he comes and he tells him, no, it's 50. It's 100 shkalim. Are you listening? It's 100 shkalim, not dollars. Yeah. He comes and he says, yeah. He comes and he says, he's saying that it's mimina ta'ana. What is mimina ta'ana? Mimina ta'ana means, right, that it's not the same. So here he gives the example, chitim v'seorim, for example. Wheat and then barley. I come and I say, you owe me wheat. He goes, no, I owe you barley. So are you going to say, yeah, right? Is that considered modeh b'miktzat or not? So here he's saying that that's why you needed two different learnings. One of them was modeh b'miktzat, and one of them is modeh mimin hatana. This is actually going to be a machloket, a Masechet Shavuot, right? The Gemara is going to bring it down, and again, the Gemara is saying that Rabbi obviously is holding like Shitat Chachamim. What? Yeah, he comes and he says that Hoda'ah, if it's not going to be mimin hatana, it's not going to be mechayev Shavua. Yeah? Fine. So he comes and he says like this. Chad lemodeh mimiktzat hadana, vechad lemodeh mimin hatana. Ve'idach. Yeah, the other one. He comes and he says like this. Ve'idach. And the other one, right? He comes and he says, modeh mimin hatana letle. Right? The other one, the other shita, which is basically going to be the father of, what's his name again? Rabbi Apotriki. Right? So he says, right? Aptoriki. So the father of Aptoriki, he comes and he says, modeh mimin hatana letle. He doesn't hold of this. The Savale, and he holds like Rashbag. The Tanam, as we learned in the Mishnah, Te'ano chitin vehoda lo beseorin patur. He comes and he says, if you come and you tell him you owe me chitin, and the other guy comes and he says, no, I owe you seorin, you're going to be patur. Rabbi Gamliel comes and he says, mehayev. So it comes out that there's going to be a machloket between Hachamim and Rabban Gamliel. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Yeah? If he comes and he says, right? He comes and he says, right? He comes and he says, he's going to be modeh, right? In a different, right? In a different, how do you call this? In a different denomination. So therefore, what happens is you're going to be chayav. Why? Because since it's not the same ta'ana, so therefore it's not considered modeh b'miktzat. Fine. Hahu raya davu masrele kol yom ha'chevata b'sahadeh. There was a roeh. Yeah, there was a shepherd that that a lot of people used to come and they used to bring them, right? Every single day, the animals in front of witnesses. Yeah? Because basically, obviously, he cannot say afterwards that he didn't receive the animals. You know, if you have a witness that you came and you give the animal. No, 100%. Sometimes it happens with children. You know, they come, they bring their children and they say, they bring them with witnesses. Right? They drop off. So they have witnesses that they dropped off the children. Because if not, afterwards they're going to say, well, you never brought your child here. Right? He's running around. He's, I don't know where. No, it's written in the Shelet. No. It's people, you come in at your own risk. Yeah? So what happens? Yom achad masrule belo saadeh. One day what happened is that they gave it without edim. Yeah, without edim. They gave it without edim. Lesof, at the end, when the animals came, Amar lehu, he told them, lahadam. What are you talking about? Lo hayu dvarim me'olam. Ma ta medaber? Yeah? Lo hayu dvarim me'olam. So, atu sadeh, asidu beh. Witnesses came, and they testified, the achal tarte minayu, that he ate two of the animals that were given to him. So therefore, the edim are machishim miktzat hatana. Okay? Because basically it's obviously saying at least there was two. Yeah? I don't know how many there were exactly, but he's saying at least there was going to be two. So he says, Amar Rabbi Zera, says Rabbi Zera, yeah, im ita led Rabbi Chia kamaita, if the halacha, right, is like the first psak of Rabbi Chia, so when you have two edim, what was the psak of Rabbi Chia? If you have two witnesses, and they come and they obligate you in miktzat, what happens? Are you chayav shavua or not? Yes. Mishtaba shara. So swear on the rest of it. Okay, no problem. Elmaleh Abaye comes and he tells Rabbi Zera, Im ita, if the halacha is like Rabbi Zera, mishtaba. Are you going to tell me Bemet he's going to swear? Ve'agazlanu. He's muchzak gazlan. Yeah, what does that mean? He's muchzak gazlan. He says because they testified, right? Sheshalach yado bepikadon, right? Which is gezel gamur, and a gazlan is pasul for shivua. When he mentioned that yesterday, we were talking about a loan. A loan, you're never a gazlan. We said, you remember? It was only going to be, that was what Richard said yesterday. It's only when you're going to be by a pikadon that you become a gazlan, not by a loan. And the difference between it is because when it's a loan, really bemet, you don't want to steal, you're just trying to buy time. So therefore, when you're saying that it's not that you're bemet, you're going to steal. It's not that you're not going to pay back. You're going to pay back. But just, you want to buy time, you're lo naim. It's, it's not, this, that, you understand? So therefore, you're trying to buy time. Okay? Huh? Yeah? But he comes and he says, but by pikadon, you do become automatically a gazlan. So the question is here, he becomes automatically a gazlan. Yeah? Amaleh. So says Rabbi Zera to Abaye. Yeah? Are you listening? Shekenegdo kamina. The kavanah of my words, right? When I said mishtaba, was keneged harueh, which means the tove'ah. What does that mean? The other way around. We know the famous halakha. You guys remember we learned this already many, many different times. We learned this. What happens in a case where you have to do a shivua? Yeah? And all of a sudden I come and I say, but 1 second, you're in a bedin. So you come and you say, but kvod rabbanim, hadayanim, shlita. Ani lo ma'amin lo. Why? Because he's a gazlan. So therefore, what happens if he can't swear? Now he has to swear, but he can't swear. So what do the bedin do? They flip it. That now instead of the guy, the defendant, instead of the litigant, the defendant coming and swearing, they flip now, and then obviously he would become patur. They flip it now to the accusing, right? The accusing one, the one that's taking to court, it's demanding, and he swears, and then by him swearing, he takes out. That the other one actually owes him money or whatever it is, or the other one he owes them. What? So they're nothing if they're both thieves. Yeah. Okay, but that's the concept. So that's what he said over here. Rabbi Zera comes and he tells Abaye, I wasn't telling you that you're going to swear. Shekenegdo kamina. I'm talking about the other guy is going to swear. But you're right, once he became a gazlan, he cannot swear. So if he can't swear, what does it help? So no, you're right, the other guy is going to swear. Okay? Hashta nami deleta ledribachia. Even now, when we're going to say that the halacha is not going to be like Rabbi Chia, nevertheless, nechayve mid Rav Nachman. You should still obligate him like Rav Nachman, right? Which means that you should still obligate him like Rav Nachman. Right? Why? Because if you're going to be kofer in any tana, you should be still chayav a shivua midrabbanan, right? And therefore, since nobody, since he's going to be chashud and you can't make him swear, so yishavat tovea vitol. Flip it again. Say that the tovea should swear, and then he's going to take. Tetzram, as we learned in the Mishnah, mana lebiyadcha. Right? Again, I have a mana by you. And the guy answers, you don't have nothing. Right? Patur, you're going to be patur. Rav Nachman says, Rav Nachman, mashbi'in oto shavua teset. We come and we make him a shavua. Shavua teset is a shavua that the rabbis obligate in order to make sure that he's going to be modeh on a sheker. So therefore, according to the din of Rav Nachman, there's going to be a shavua on this roeh even without edim, and even without the din of Rabbi Chia of modeh b'miktzat. So therefore, the Gemara is asking, why are we not going to say that he should make a shavua? Why not make a shavua? And if he cannot make a shavua, the tovea should make the shavua, and then he's going to take it. Right? So even if the halacha is not like Rabbi Chia, it doesn't matter. Capish? Yeah? Answers the Gemara, the Rav Nachman takantahi. The shavua of Rav Nachman is a takana. What does it mean it's a takana? It's a takanat chachamim. And therefore, midin Torah, there's no shavua, right, on the person which is going to be kofer on everything without edim. And therefore, he comes and he says, "V'takanta letakanta lo avdinan." What does that mean? We do not make a takana on another takana, which means the entire concept that anybody that's going to be mechuyav shavua, that if you cannot make him, you're going to flip, right, is already a takanat chachamim, and they only did it in a case where the person is going to be chashud on a shavua midoraita, not on a shavua midrabanan. And therefore, in this case, right, and that's what we're trying to say over here, if it was only going to be the Rabbanan, we do not do a Rabbanan on a Rabbanan. And therefore, in the case of the shepherd, in order for him to say that, you have to say that we paskin like Rabbi Chia, and we can't just say it's going to be a Shavua mideh Rabbanan. Okay? That's what actually we're going to say. Let's just finish until the 2 dots and I'll take questions. So says the Gemara, V'teipu klei tehavya le ro'eh. 1 second. Why don't we just say that he's a ro'eh? Right? And therefore, the fact that he is already a ro'eh, he's already pasul to first Shavua. The Amar of Yehuda says, Stam ro'eh pasul. A stam ro'eh is considered a gazlan. Why? Because many times they used to take the animals and they used to graze, right? What was Avraham Avinu? He always had a muzzle on his animals. Why? Right? Because he wanted to make sure that he's not going to take, right, from other things. You understand? So therefore, you put a muzzle, right? When you have a thing, what do? You put a muzzle, right? And the muzzle is going to protect. So he comes and he says, so therefore, if you're going to tell me now that a stam ro'eh is going to be pasul, so therefore, automatically it's pasul over here. What are we talking about? So he says, La kashia hadideh ve'hadeh alma. The din of Rabbi Yehuda is talking about his own animals. So he says, his own animals, that you're right, it's going to become a problem. But he says, but if he's talking about the other people's animals, he says, since he's not gaining anything, so he's not going to sin for other people. Meaning like this, if they're my animals and I'm the shepherd, so then yeah, it could be that I'm going to come and I'm going to take my animals, and by the way, while they're walking by your grass, they're going to enjoy some of the grass. Why? Because I have what to gain. But now if you're coming and you're bringing me your animals to watch over, and you're the one that's paying, so you're paying for the food as well. So if you're paying for the food, why in the world am I going to steal for you? Doesn't make sense. So he says, if not, anan chevata leroeh hecha masrinan. How do we give animals to a roeh? It's written, you're not allowed to come and put a stumbling block in front of a person. So answers the Gemara, a person does not sin for someone else. Meaning, a person will never come, right, and do an avera for someone else. It just doesn't make sense, right? There are some people that they like, putting their nose into things, but there's a concept that why am I going to come and sin for you? I'm going to get punished for you for what? It doesn't make sense, huh? Well, but that means it's for him. So then it is for him. We're talking if it's not for him, the person will not do that, right? I'm not going to come and do an avera just so you can benefit. Doesn't make sense, right? So therefore, because of this chazakah, you're allowed to give animals to a roeh, right? Why? Because when we're talking about a roeh, there's not going to be any problem whatsoever. 2 dots on He Amud Bet. Ze yishava she'en lo b'pachot mechetzia. We were talking about, remember that whenever we have the 2 dots, we go back to the Mishnah. You remember, we're going back, we're trying to analyze parts of the Mishnah. So we said in the Mishnah, each one of the 2 guys which are holding onto the talit, they are going to swear that they do not have less than half. So says the Gemara, 1 second. This guy that he's swearing in order to take half, al de'it le mishtaba, or al delet le mishtaba? Does he have to swear that he has minimum half, which means shivua that he has half, or does he have to swear she'en lo papachot mechetzia, that he doesn't have less than half? Okay, so now, right? So which way is he swearing? On the positive or on the negative? So says the Gemara, right? Amar Ravuna, the Amar. What's the kavanah of the Mishnah? He has to say shivua sheyesh liba. Ve'en li pachot mechetzia. He has to swear that he has a chelek in it, and he doesn't have less than half, right? So therefore, in such a way, right, he's actually coming and taking out that he doesn't have nothing in the talit, and also the efsharut that he has, right, maybe only a third or only a quarter, right? So basically, the way that he's doing the shivua, right? We're trying to do it in a beautiful nusach that for sure a person has to swear that he also has part of the talit, right? In order to say that, Ramaut or whatever it is. So he does have to swear that, but how's he doing it? So he's doing it in a way that he says, shivua, that he's got something in it, and also that he doesn't have less than half. So says the Gemara, 1 second. V'neima shivua shekula shali. Each guy that's coming to court, what are they saying? That the entire talit is theirs. So why don't they just come and make a shivua that the entire thing is theirs? Yeah, that's it. Just make a shivua, the entire thing is theirs. So says the Gemara, Umiya vina le, right? Kula. He says, 1 second, right? Let's say he actually is going to do that, right? He says, what? Would you give him the entire thing? His friend is also going to do the same thing. So therefore, it comes out that it doesn't make sense, because if each one is swearing that they have 100%, so what is betting coming now and coming and doing and now dividing it? It makes a joke out of the betting. Hey, imagine right now, betting come and they say, okay, you swear that it's 100% yours. Michelle is going to swear 100% his. And all of a sudden we come and say, split it. You say, I won. I just swore that it's 100% mine. And you just said that I just swore 100% there. So, but it looks, but even if it's been din safek, it looks a joke out of a bedin. That bedin make you swear that you have 100%, and then still after that you're swearing, you come and say, you know what? Just split it. Right? No. Shlomo Melech, he did it b'chokhmah. He did it with his chokhmah. Right? But he didn't do it. Right? He didn't do it. He did it b'chokhmah in order to find out who is the real mother. Right? That's something different do it. Again, one more time. A Dayan has a certain knowledge and he has certain Ruach HaKodesh that he knows exactly what he's doing. Right? But when you're talking about a special deen, I cannot come and say, you're going to swear that it's yours. You're going to swear that it's yours. Shlomo Melech said, there's no swearing. You know what? Very simple. Both of you are thing. Boom. Cut the baby in half. Give half to each one. Right? That's it. Very simple solution. But he's not going to come and say, you know what? Both of you swear. That means one of them for sure is swearing falsely. Right? And all of a sudden, right? Split. What did you do? Doesn't make sense. Yeah? So he comes and he says, right? V'neima says the Gemara, fine. So just make a swear that chetzia sheli. Just swear that half of it is mine. Why do you have to say shivua that I have part of it, and also that I don't have less than half? Just say shivua that half of it is mine. Right? What do you know? Like what? So says the Gemara, mara ledidbure. What does that mean? He's going to make it worse, which means once he comes and he starts being toen that the entire thing is his, we're not going to come and make him a shivua that really bemet it's not his. So therefore, so says the Gemara, hashtanami marel, the same thing here. At the end of the day, when he's going to be magbil his shivua that it's only going to be chetzi, so it's mashma that he doesn't have more than chetzi. So the answer is the Gemara, de'amar kula sheli. He comes and he says, really bemet, the entire thing is mine. Uldivrechem, but if you're not going to believe me, shivua sheyesh li ba ve'en li pachod mechetzia. So he comes and he says, since he cannot come and be nishba on the entire ta'ana, so he says at least he's going to make a shavua that he's got a portion in it, and he doesn't have less than half. So says the Gemara, tafus ve'omed v'zeh tafus ve'omed shavua zulama. So he comes and he says, if at the end of the day each one is tafus ve'omed, why do you need a shavua? They both have the exact same rights, right? They both have the exact same rights to this object. So why do you need a shavua? Split it in half, like we said, and if you can't, then obviously sell it and then you divide the money. V'gamanu, shavua zulamali. Sam Rabbi Yochanan says, shavua zot takana chachamim, it's a takana chachamim, shloi kol echad ve'echad holech v'tokev betalito shel chavero ve'omer shelihu. Imagine right now, right? If I'm not going to make the shavua, what's going to happen is, right? There's going to be I don't know what. I'm going to grab it. This is mine.
He's going to
No, the other one grabbed it, and they keep on doing that. So he said, you know what, make a shivua. Why? Because once a person has to make a shivua, he's going to think twice. He's not just going to come that easily, just thumb and grab things. Okay? So says the Gemara, V'neima migo de chashida mamona chashina meshuata. Ask the Gemara an incredible question. Listen to this question. I don't remember somebody, I think he asked this question at the beginning. He says, 1 second, right? You once asked this question, but not now. You asked it before, and I answered you that. He says, 1 second, if right now a person is going to be suspected on stealing, so why isn't he going to be suspected on shivua? Yeah? Answers the Gemara, Lo amnina migu de chashida mamona chashida shvuata. We don't say that. Right? Why? Because it could be that that there's a difference between gezel and shivua sheker. If you remember, I told you guys, I brought you the proof from the killing in the Bet HaMikdash. Tum'ah was so important to them, they wouldn't come and but killing, big deal. They killed, no big deal. But Tum'ah in the Bet HaMikdash, they can't have Tum'ah, quickly take the knife out, take the guy out. Tum'ah, no. A murder, no big deal. Meaning that you do see people that they have different value systems, right? They have different ways of looking at things. You understand? So now, says the Gemara, 1 second. He comes and he says, why don't we going to say that he's going to be chashud on the Shavua? He says, if you're not going to say this, if the Torah says, name amigo de chashid mamona chashid shvuata. 1 second. If you're going to come and tell me that a person is going to be suspected for Shavua, how do you exist the concept of modeh b'miktzat? If you're already suspected that you're stealing, and that's why you're only saying half, so how can we swear? But you're just suspected on stealing. So how do we come and tell you that then? So says the Gemara, Hatam over there, Ishtamute kamishtamele kederabba. He says, no, in the case of modeh b'miktzat, you're just trying to get out of it. It's not that you want to steal completely. You don't want to steal. But you just want to get out of it just to buy yourself some time, and that's why you're doing it. Teida, what's the proof? This is what we said again yesterday. Which means if you're going to come and you're going to be kofer b'milve, you're still going to be kasher ledu, but bepikadon, you're going to be pasul be'edut. Ella, but rather, he comes and he says, right? Hadetani dami barchamada, which Rabbi Mechama came in and taught the Rabba, shomrim tzechim kfira b'miktzat v'oda b'miktzat, shomechina v'shoel noseh secha v'sochel, neima megidu chashud mamona, chashud shvata, the same thing. By the cases of the 4 shomrim, why do they have to come and they have to make a shavua if you're already suspecting them on the money? And you can't say now it's a loan. Meaning, by the loan, you could answer, listen, he's just trying to buy time. But really, Bemet, he doesn't want to steal. But here, this is by the pikadon. So therefore, why are you going to come and make him make a vow? And so the Gemara, Hatamnami, they're also ishtamutik. You're trying to get out of it. Right? Savar, because he thought, Meshkachna leganav, betafisna le. He thought it was stolen from him. He thought he's going to grab the ganav and then he's going to give it back. Inami, if not, you could also say, Meshkachna la bagam, you could find it in the swamp, Umaytina le, and I'm going to bring it back. So for the same exact svara about the halva'ah, that really, Be'emet, you're not lying, Be'emet, because you don't want to pay it back. You want to pay it back, but you just want to buy time. The same thing is with this guy. This guy's a shomer. And he's buying time. What does he want to buy time? He wants to find the ganav. Somebody stole it from him. So he wants to say, no, it never existed, or this, or all these different things. Why? In order to buy time, to find the ganav, right, to get it, and then give it back to him, or to find it in a swamp and give it back to him. So ask the Gemara, Yihachiv so, a kofer pikadon, why is he pasul edut? Just like by the halva'ah, you just said that if somebody's going to be kofer b'halva'ah, he's not pasul edut, because he's not really stealing, he just wants to buy time. So same thing by a pikadon. Neima, right, he comes and he says, so Neima, right, ishtamuti kamishtamet, savar ad v'chashna, umashkach le. He says, I'm going to push it off until I'm going to find it, and then I'm going to give it back to him. So answers the Gemara, ki amninan kofer b'pikadon pasul, when do we say that a kofer b'pikadon is going to be pasul edut, kegondatu sadeh v'asidu, when 2 witnesses come and they testify about him, te'ahi shata, because during that time, ita lepikadon b'veteva v'yada, he was in his house, and he knows about it. Or yinami davenakle b'deh, or he has it in his hand. Meaning like this, if be'emet, he does not have it in his hands, and he's swearing, and it's talking about a pikadon, really be'emet, he's not going to be pasul edut. And the reason why is he's buying time, just like by the halva. He's buying time. He doesn't want to complete it. But if it's right now, 2 witnesses come and they say, it's in his house. What buying time is there? He has it in his house. He says, no, it was stolen or whatever it is. Or the, Aywa, what's going on? So that's when he becomes pasul le'edut. Or he has it in his hand. And that's when he becomes pasul le'edut. Ella, but rather, hadam Ravuna, that which Ravuna comes and he says, Mashbi'in oto shevu'ah she'ena birshuto, that they're going to come and they're going to be mashbi'a oto, a shevu'ah which is not in his reshut. Neima migu de chashid amamona chashid ashvuata. Why don't we just say that there's a migu? The migu is, since he's going to be suspected on the mamona, he's going to be suspected, right, on the shevu'ah as well. Right? Which means, because Rav Huna comes and he says by the shomer that he's saying that really be'emet he's going to be patur mitzadadin. He says that really be'emet if he wants to pay, right, he could pay instead of swearing. You remember that? That basically that always you could do. That instead of swearing, you just pay. Okay? So he says, Mashbino to shivua shena birshuto. Right? We're still going to come and we're going to make him swear that it's not in his reshut. Okay? Everyone understood what just happened? One more time. I come and I say, what happened to the thing? He comes and he says, it was stolen, whatever. He's going to be patur. right? But he has to swear. So you tell, okay, Shomer, Mr. Shomer, swear. Because he says, I don't want to swear. So what do you mean? If you don't swear, you have to pay. Okay, so I'll pay. We still make him make a shavua. But what's the shavua that we're not going to make him now? Right? He comes and he says the shavua that we're make now is that really be'emet he doesn't have it in his property. So says the Gemara, why don't we say the same thing? What do you mean you're making him make a shavua that it's not on his property? Why don't we say that he's going to be suspected about swearing falsely? So answers the Gemara, hatamnami, there also, right? Moreh ve'amar demeka yavinale, right? He's going to be moreh heter latzmo, and he's going to say, but I'm paying for it. So what's the difference?
What is the reason you don't want to swear?
Many people, they don't want to swear. Says the Gemara, so Amale Ravacha midifta l'Ravina. Says Ravacha midifta to Ravina. Ve'akavar, right? He says ve'akavar alav de lo tachmod. Lo tachmod. Yeah, what does that mean? Right? She comes and he says that the shomer is going to be over on lo tachmod, which means even if he's not going to be chashud on lo tigzol, he still has, right? He still has to pay for the pikadon. Nevertheless, he's still suspected on lo tachmod. So if we're going to say that he's going to be chashud to steal, right? He's going to be chashud also to swear falsely, because lo tachmod is also an avera. So answers the Gemara, lo tachmod leinche belo dami mashmelo. He comes and he says, people think that the yisur of lo tachmod is only if you don't pay for it. But if you pay for it, there's no lo tachmod. Meaning like this, some people think, okay, what is lo tachmod? I'm not supposed to want this Gemara. Right? But if I come now and I give him money, there's no lo tachmod. I paid him for it. No. There's still lo tachmod. But people don't realize it. But that's what people think. Right? And then the Gemara is going to continue with obviously Rav Nachman and this and that. But he says, Ve'ela da Rav Nachman, that which Rav Nachman says, Mashminu to Shuvat Eset. You remember we already said that there's a Shuvat Rabbanan, that he has to swear Shuvat Eset. Why don't we say the same thing? Migu d'chashem mona chashad Shuata, that once he's going to be chashud on Mamona, he's going to be chashud also on Shavuata. Right? And then he's going to say obviously the different answers. B'ezrat Hashem.